Absolutely nobody has ever accused me of being OCD, a clean freak, or anything else. I have crap living all over my desk. Always have, always will. And I kind of say that, the sign of a messy desk is the sign of a genius. Even a genius like me needs a little bit of organization and a little bit of productivity organization kind of thing. That's why we're going to talk about mic stands, booms. We're going to talk about some other things. One piece of equipment that I've got over here that I've had for several years. We'll talk about that this time on K6UDA Radio. So my friends, like I said, today it's about a little bit of organization, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Hey, before we get into the whole organizational thing here and about mic stands and microphone switches, I want to take a few moments and thank a couple of fellow cops or retired cops in some respects. Mike, KB5QFU from Saginaw, Texas. Johnny Vegas, K7BIG, who's a constable in Las Vegas. Johnny, in addition to the patch, Johnny sent me a little sweetheart badge. That's what we call them. Give them to the wives and girlfriends. That is so cool, dude. Thanks. And a very special thanks to Brad Bracane, KB9BSB, who I've had a couple of QSOs with, who set me up with these patches back here from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And he told me that actually that is the hometown of Rush Limbaugh. And that very day I was listening to Rush Limbaugh and he talked about Cape Girardeau and being back home when he was a kid. So very cool. Bill, thank you for the history lesson. And thank you guys all for the patches. As you can see, they now have a nice home here in the shack and in the studio. And there's still a little bit more room back here if any other cops want to send me patches. Very cool. Thank you. So here's a thing. A lot of you guys have big microphones with suspension rigs and everything. And these things weigh pretty good. So the best way to mount these things sometimes is to get them up off the desk. Just $30 on Amazon. This is probably one of the best microphone boom arm stands I have ever seen. It has a nice heavy duty frame construction. The base is very heavy duty and the base frame construction is a nice triangle, which is a lot more heavy duty than this other type that I've been using for a very small, very lightweight microphone. The mounting base on the T20 Tonar is much more substantial than any other mic stand that I have ever owned in this kind of a price range. Now, the fact that I'm using my Yeti Blue mic on here says a lot because the Yeti Blue is a pig. Now, the Yeti comes with this pop filter included in the set, which is very, very cool because it takes the P's and it takes that hard pop out of the P and the T and it softens it up. The Tonar also comes with a universal mic clamp if you need that, and everything else you need to get set up with whatever microphone you're using. Now, I left a link in the description below for the Tonar T20 Studio Boom Arm. It's also listed in my Amazon store. Guys, I really like this. For the money, you can't touch this kind of quality. On the ham radio side, I started out really with a Heil mic suspended from one of these cheaper mounts. And I've gone through a few of them because it's a fairly robust microphone, and it just doesn't handle, well, the cheap mounts just don't handle the weight. That's what I'm so impressed about that Tonar for, is it's very inexpensive, comes with a few accessories, and it handles the weight of a very heavy microphone. So now I have two microphones that I can operate the K3 with, and that is my Heil Pro 7 headset or the stock Elecraft hand mic. I have found I get great results with both of these microphones, fantastic results, and so I've decided to make these two my default microphones. Now, I can't plug two microphones into the front or the back of my K3. So what I have is this MFJ 1260. And the MFJ 1260 is a microphone switching unit. The problem, getting two microphones to talk to one radio. Now, the MFJ 1260 microphone switch is just the answer that I've always looked for, and this thing has performed great over the past 5 years or so. The MFJ 1260 microphone switch is very simple in its design. Take a single microphone input line, connect it to the radio. That line gets connected to the rear of the MFJ switch. On the front panel of the microphone switch, you have 4 inputs, well, actually 2 inputs. You pick the 2 inputs, plug your microphones into those, and use the AB switch to switch between whatever 2 microphones you have. There's an auxiliary input which can be used for a TNC, a voice keyer, a sound card, all kinds of things. A headphone jack with on-off speaker and a speaker volume button. Now, like I said before, I have owned this MFJ 1260 for several years. As a matter of fact, long before I was ever doing YouTube videos. And this has been one of the best investments I have ever made in being able to use multiple mics. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, the bell notification right next to it. Check out my Patreon, my PayPal. Consider supporting the channel, please, and thank you. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're using for organization in your shack, because I know a lot of you have some really beautiful looking shacks. And we'll see you next time. I'm Bob, K6UDA, and I'm out of here. 7-3.